All right. Anabolic Academy on serious and silliness bodybuilding. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell so you get all the newest content from me talking about bodybuilding and all the latest things that are happening in bodybuilding. It is, what time is it? It's 11:04 p.m. Eastern time. I had a long day, but I have to pump out some content. So we're getting it done. I don't care what time it is because we got to get it done. And to be quite frank, I love doing it. I'm not going to lie. I really do like doing this. It's fun, especially the Anabolic Academy when I get to answer questions. Or anyway, all right. The first question, and they're all Instagram questions. I don't have any emails or anything like that. The first question is from Vincent Briatore. He's actually a friend. He said, "What do you think about Ruby Mosera? Uh, do you think he'll go straight to the top?" Oh, okay. Do you think he'll go straight to the top? Ruby Mosera. Okay, so obviously, if you guys aren't living on the rock or something like that, Ruby Mosera is NECKZILLA. He just turned pro this weekend. And the next day, he jumped into the Prague Pro, and he took third at the Prague Pro, which is pretty impressive. So here is my honest opinion about NECKZILLA, Ruby Mosera. I think he has tremendous potential. We've heard things like this before where like freaks come out of the woodwork, right? They blow up on the scene and everybody's like, oh, this guy is the next big thing. He's the next Mr. Olympia. He's the next this one. I mean, I've been around the game a long time. I heard it with Marcus Rule. I've heard it with Evan Santopani. I heard it with Akeem Williams. I mean, the list goes down the line about the freaks that jump out and everybody's talking about them being the next big thing and so on and so forth. Some of them live up to their potential. Some of them don't. I don't know what this guy's work ethic is. Now, here is my honest opinion about Ruby Mosera. I think he has the potential to be a very good bodybuilder, breaking the top 5 and things like the Arnold Classic, breaking the top 10 in the Olympia, winning shows like, maybe it's Chicago Pro or New York Pro or something like that, if he puts time and effort into it. He's imbalanced. Obviously, his legs overpower his upper body. And as long as there are symmetrically sound bodybuilders, more symmetrically sound than him, like a Samson Dowda, Derek Lunsford, Hadi Chupin, Andrew Jack, Hunter Labrada, even Nick Walker. I don't think he's going to be able to get to that Mr. Olympia status or on a classic winner status because he just doesn't have a pleasing physique. He has a freaky physique. Now, he might make a liar out of me, and he might be able to turn his physique into something that we've never seen before. He is very young. He's in his late 20s. This is just my opinion. The guy has had a tremendous beginning, and he's obviously proven that he can hang with the big boys. I mean, he came in third in the Prague Pro right behind Mike Krizo. Samson Dowda, Mike Krizo, Ruby Mosera. I wrote it down because I'm terrible with names, as everybody knows. Ruby Mosera. That's how you pronounce his name. That's what I think. I think he will be a very good bodybuilder. I don't look at him and go, Arnold Classic winner potential, Mr. Olympia potential. When I first saw Samson Dowda, I immediately went, Arnold Classic potential. This guy puts on more size and he gets in shape and he's an Arnold Classic winner because he has that Arnold Classic physique, right? I mean, he has the Cedric McMillan physique. He has the Flex Wheeler. He has the beautiful physique, but he's much bigger and much leaner than those guys were because he's just more of a modern day bodybuilder. And as long as that guy is there, as long as Derek Lunsford is there, as long as Hadi Chupin is there, as long as Andrew Jack is there, and all these guys who have beautiful physiques but can match his size and conditioning, I don't think he's going to break through that top 5, top 6 barrier. Now, I could be wrong. These guys could fall off the map. We could find anything can happen in the next 10 years because he's a very young guy, right? I mean, we've seen highs and lows in bodybuilding where guys rise to the top because there's lack thereof, right? I mean, let's face it. When Brandon Curry and And then right after Brandon Curry, Big Rammy won the Olympia, the open class was at a low point. The new blood was just coming up. Derek Lunsford was just coming up. Samson Dowda, Nick Walker, Hadi Chupin. These guys were just coming in, right? And everybody saw the potential. But now they're the man. Now they're the guys on top. And their talent is amazing. And this happens with bodybuilding, right? You have for years where the talent is amazing, like in the 90s to the early 2000s, and it kind of drops off a little bit, and then it goes back up, and it drops off. I mean, this is just so we could see a time where this guy keeps working hard and putting in the work and putting in the work and putting in the work and putting in the work, and then somebody's slipping. The talent's not as good as it used to be, and then bang, he nails the Mr. Olympia. It could happen. That's how I look at him. I don't look at his physique and go, this guy could be dangerous as a Mr. Olympia competitor or an Arnold Classic competitor. I look at him as he can win a New York Pro, he can win a Chicago Pro, he can win a Prague Pro, he can win all those shows. He could get to the Olympia, he could break the top 10, and he could have a very good, solid, fulfilling bodybuilding career. That's how I look at him. I might be wrong, just my opinion. Guy might prove me wrong next year. I don't know. Next question. And of course, all the questions come from Fran is the man. Do you know why? Because Fran is the motherfucker man. Let's say Fran is the man. Where you at? I know you got a bunch of questions. Where you at, homie? There you are. I got you. Okay, here we go. First question. Now that MD is no more, will you try to invite some of the guys from MD back to your podcast? All right. The short answer is no. I have tried to invite them back after that whole debacle took place, after they left. And they turned it down, basically. Okay. So they turned it down. So no, now that MD is dead and no more, I'm not going to be inviting them again. I mean, look, they're good dudes. Okay. Bo, Danny, Nate, solid guys, good dudes. But I would be the stupid one to invite them back. Because what if something else happens? They're just going to leave me again? You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? And I have actually invited Danny, Bo. Nate made it clear that he'll come on for an interview, but he's not going to come on for Muscle Talk anymore. So I have tried to reach out and bring them back, and they turned it down. So that's it. That chapter's over with. Muscular development is dead. Serious Silliness Bodybuilding continues on with me and Muscle Talking. And you will always have Jason on with me as long as he wants to be with me, because he showed me that he is 100% a loyal friend. He is the most loyal friend I have in bodybuilding. So he will always be with me on Muscle Talk, period. End of story. Unless something happens. And I hope nothing happens. Okay. Next question from Fran is duh. That's how he spells it, with a D. Duh, man. Fran is duh, man. You sound like you're from Brooklyn. Duh, man. What's your prediction on how well NECKZILLA will do in 2024? I think if NECKZILLA could, I think NECKZILLA could, like I said in the last question, I think he could win any New York Pro, Chicago Pro, any decent level open show. I think in 2024, if he decides to go into if he gets the invite for Arnold Classic, the Arnold Classic Ohio, I think he gets smoked, because you get to the Arnold Classic, the competition is different. I think he could break again. The Arnold Classic is a little bit different than the Olympia. The Arnold Classic is invite only. You could put your information in, and you gotta wait to see if you get invited. There could be 20 guys at the Arnold Classic. There could be 8 guys at the Arnold Classic. It all depends, right? And they don't necessarily, if they're invited, they don't necessarily have to do it. We've already found out that Nick Walker's not doing the Arnold, right? He already said he's not doing the Arnold. He has to heal. He said it in an Instagram comment. Somebody asked him, and he said, no, he's got to heal. He's got to wait a little while. So, but I think in a deep Arnold Classic lineup, he gets smoked. I think in an average Arnold Classic lineup, he might break, top 8, top 6, something like that. In 2024, I don't know what happens after that. The Arnold Classic is only a few months away. It's like the end of February, beginning of March. I mean, we're running through November like nobody's business. It's almost over. It's almost before you know it's going to be New Year's, right? So I think that's what happens. I think he can win a local show. Listen, I think he can win a pro show, like I said, Chicago or Cali, something like that. Then he goes to the Olympia in 2024 to get smoked. But that's how everybody starts out in the Olympia, unless you are a freak of nature. And I understand that he's a freak of nature, but once you put him up against guys like Samson, Hadi, Derek, Andrew Jack, Hunter, the best of the best, he's going to be exposed. And then, he'll be lucky to break the top 10, right? I mean, look, do you know who came in? Ross Flanagan won the Cali Pro, and he looked phenomenal. And he came in 17th at the Olympia. I mean, that should tell you something, that the Olympia is no joke. And Ross Flanagan is a good bodybuilder. And that should tell you right then and there that it is no joke. I'm pretty sure that he was very disappointed, and then he did not show up for the next day. I think he knew that he had a disappointing outcome, and he didn't come back the next day. But I mean, you look at the third call out of the Olympia, and you got Phil Klahar, you got what was his name? Roman Fritz. You got Justin Shear. I mean, you got guys that could dominate any other show, right? And then they come into third call out at the Olympia. It's a different world once you get there. Now, and I'm only saying that because the question was, how will he do in 2024? How well he will do after that, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know who's training him. I don't know what his work ethic is. We have no clue. So we'll just have to see. All right, next question from is the man. Do you have any other hidden talents besides singing? Well, just so you know, I do this trick with a carrot. What? It's a magic trick. Get your mind out of the gutter. Next question from Fine is the man. If you own a gym, what rules would you change compared to the gyms you've been to? All right. Well, if I was an owner of the gym, I would be very proactive. No shirts. You can't take your shirt off. I've seen that in the gym recently, and that you want to take your clothes off. Go in the locker room, take your clothes off, take your pictures there. Don't do it in the gym. Okay. That's number one. The other thing is, don't hoard the weights. Don't take all the dumbbells you need for your workout and just steal them. Take them for your workout, and that's ridiculous. There's a locker room. You provide, and I would also have surveillance, right? Just in case there's any stealing going on and so on and so forth. I would have surveillance. Obviously, you can have surveillance in the locker room, but I would have surveillance outside the locker room to see who goes in and out, so on and so forth, right? Because this is the difference between somebody who would own a private owner and a corporate gym, right? Because this is my bread and butter, and I got to make sure that my gym operates on all 8 cylinders so I can make a living. The corporations have major corporations backing them with millions and millions of dollars, and they don't give a shit if 1 or 2 people leave, because it's just ready to sign the next 1 or 2 people that come in, right? What else? Here's another thing that irks me, that would bother the shit, because this really bothers me. Every once in a while, you'll get a guy in the gym, and his entire MO, because I saw this today, and this really bothered me. And I didn't say anything once again. His entire MO is just to either talk to or pretend to help the young and or attractive girls in the gym. I would give that guy, if I was an owner of a gym, I would give that guy a serious warning. And then if he wouldn't stop, he'd be out on his ass. There was a guy in the gym today, and I've seen him there plenty of times. I've never seen this guy on a bench press. I've never seen this guy under a squat rack. I've never seen this guy break a sweat. He always looks like he's going to work out, and his entire MO is to approach either the attractive girls or the young girls in the gym and try to, oh, let me help you. Let me show you what to do. And that just, because you are a predator and it's happening right in front of my eyes, like at the gym, and I can't stand, especially with the young girls. That like to me, you're a piece of shit because I know what you're doing. Right? That would be that I wouldn't even give you would give you a second chance. You get one warning and then you're out on your ass. Sorry. You can't come back here anymore. That would be, I mean, there's plenty of things, at the same time, though, the people should have the freedom to like train hard. If you drop the weights, no problem. If you're grunting, no problem. If you wear work boots because you just came from work, no problem. You want to carry your gym bag around because you got your stuff, no problem. Right? You don't want to be, you don't want to be Stalin. You want to have the basic rules, make sure everybody's cool, but you want to have a comfortable workout environment as well. Anyway, that answers that question. Next question, Joan. Oh, and last, two questions. Sorry. How often should a competitive bodybuilder get his blood work checked? I would say twice a year. Twice a year. Once at the beginning of the year, once 6 months in. That's what I do. Just to make sure, stay on top of it. If everything is basically okay, the large markers are okay, your kidney, heart, because when you blood work too, I also get my EKG done when I get blood work for my heart. I just went to a cardiologist, make sure everything is cool. I did the stress test. Turned out everything was great. My heart is fine, so on and so forth. Had blood work done. The only thing that was really out of order with my blood work was my cholesterol was a little messed up, but I was able to adjust that. My kidney function was fine, so on and so forth. But I would definitely say twice a year for people who are on steroid cycles and are bodybuilders or competitive bodybuilders, at least, because you got to make sure you stay on top of that, because the one little thing, if you ignore it, we've seen tragedies happen where people ignore their health because they're too young or they don't realize something is wrong and they just keep pushing. And even though, let's face it, when you're young, you kind of ignore it. You're like, I'm fine. I don't need to go to blood. And 98% of the time, you're right. You're a young dude. You're a young girl. You got no problems. But every once in a while, we see tragedy happen, right? And you want to avoid that. Dallas McCarver, he had an issue that was genetic that he didn't know about. And I mean, I don't know the details, but I would assume that pushing his body to the limits that he pushed it led him to his unfortunate passing. And so we should all go and get everything checked, especially when you're in a sport like bodybuilding, where you're constantly pushing your body to the limit, whether it's in the gym, drug use, food, so on and so forth. You're putting the stress on your body like no other sport, really. So you need to stay on top of it. Now, when you're young, like I said, most of the time your body could take it. If you're supposed to be 200 pounds and your heart is, a size for a 200-pound guy and your kidneys are a size for a 200-pound guy, but you build yourself to 300 pounds, that's a lot of stress on your heart, kidneys, liver, so on and so forth, because it's extra 100 pounds that it's not equipped for. So when you're in your 20s and 30s, you might be able to get away with it, right? Not all the time, though. Once you're in your 40s and 50s, it's very difficult to get away with it. It's going to happen sooner or later. And this is why we see guys like that retire and so on. The guys like Dexter Jackson, those guys are few and far between, okay? Most guys, once they get to their early 40s, it's over, but we have seen young guys, unfortunately, hurt themselves because they didn't go and get checked out. Well, okay. Next and final question. Any advice for hair loss prevention when on a cycle? Well, obviously there's Finasteride, right? It's a drug that you could take. And what it does is that, okay, so when you take any kind of testosterone or any kind of derivative of a testosterone, you risk your DHT level going up, your dihydrotestosterone level going up. That's what leads to hair loss. If you are genetically unfortunate that you're going to get hair loss in the future, this could actually quicken the hair loss, if for lack of a better term. I'm sorry, I'm mumbling my words, but you know what I mean. So the DHT level goes up, you could possibly get hair loss. Finasteride actually controls your DHT levels. So you can be able to not suffer from hair loss greatly. It might still happen, but the drug is available, so you can use that. There's another drug. Actually, I think it's a topical solution. You could rub on. You could rub minoxidil. It's a topical. I think you take it orally, and after you're done with your steroid cycle, you can rub it on your hair, wherever you rub it on your head. And I think it actually helps to reactivate hair growth. And I think there's a pill too that you take it, and then I think there's different shampoos. I think there's like caffeine shampoos. Don't ask me how. I don't know, but I think there's caffeine shampoos that help stimulate hair growth and so on and so forth. Blah blah blah. And is that the last question? Yes, that is the last question. And again, thank you for the questions, Fana's the man. Thank you for the questions, Vincent Briatore. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody out there like and subscribe and loving my content. Please hit that notification bell. And happy Thanksgiving. That's right. This Thursday is Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a muscle talk because it's Thanksgiving Eve. So I got to talk to Jason. We might not be doing it. If we do it, it's not going to be up till Friday or Saturday because it's holiday weekend. But everybody out there, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be safe. And don't worry about your diet. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Have some pumpkin pie and turkey with your family. And then go on your crazy lunatic tilapia diet the next day. Just enjoy yourself. All right, guys. Later.